I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Nottingham Select Board for the meeting of Monday, June 22nd, 2020. First, we'd like to start is with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have any manifesto payroll, so we did that last, right? Right. So we'll move over those. Quickly we'll go for reports from assigned boards. I know the budget committee hasn't met. I know the CIP is not meeting. The planning board, no. This week, okay. And then we have the 300th, anything? 300 rescheduled to July. Perfect. And then quickly on March, then we just need rain.
Just need rain, yes.
Perfect. We'll go straight to the town administrator's report.
Two quick things, beach open Friday, uneventful weekend, so far so good. The state park, last week they told us they were opening Friday, and Thursday night they told us, yeah, we're not doing that.
Signs still open up, yeah.
So they, I don't know what they're pulled fast on us, but, the problems that we were worried about didn't materialize, at least not this weekend, so. We were worried something about something wasn't gonna happen, or we got lucky. Seem to be okay this weekend. And the only other thing is we talked about USA Springs just before the World fell apart. In March, I think, was the last time we talked about it. And kind of put things on hold because of the governor's executive order on foreclosure activity. That order has just been lifted effective July 1st. So we can put that back on the list of things to do as soon as we come out of town meeting. I just need to bounce off our attorney to make sure I'm not missing something, but it looked like we were both the whole order, so it looks like we can get that.
It's very hard to hear Chris.
No, it's using the microphone in the face of my camera.
We will try to do our best, Steve.
Yeah, sorry for all the chaos. What the reason we're doing all this at the last minute is because we learned at 4:30 that our TV system did not come out of the pandemic working. So we wanted to go back to the old way of, putting meetings on TV. And, well, that's me taking it apart and making it work at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Obviously it's working now, but it wasn't working before I did that. So this was a scramble to try and make your meeting available to people somehow live. So we're going to call some help on our TV system.
But Tony, there will be a recording after this, it is recorded.
I'm recording it locally, yeah, so that way there's no chance of a loss if the internet breaks.
So it's also recording audio from this, we need to speak out.
Yes.
Recording audio, okay.
Want to quickly go to the question, sorry.
That's it, that's all.
That's it. The action item review from the last meeting. We had from Mr. Lewis, we'll touch soon, so we get to
Yeah.
Well, we did that, so.
Yeah, so what I found, notwithstanding this problem tonight, with our broadcast equipment, there's no way to tie in a computer with the audio and video feed with these mics, right, and that camera for a simulcast, not just on Zoom, but on the television. There's no way to tie it together. We had the same problem when we were doing that first meeting that we did in Microsoft Teams. So we had to voodoo together a set of speakers in front of a microphone, and it sounded like garbage, but it was the best we could do at the time. Yeah, our legacy broadcast equipment isn't, as best as I can tell, is not set up for the 21st century simulcast.
So next Monday, we'll be trying this a little different for the.
Tony, if we all got into the Zoom meeting and stayed on mute until we were going to talk, would that eliminate kind of feedback? I mean, it would be a discipline for us to do that.
Yeah.
Would that work?
We could help, yeah.
So we'll try that next meeting.
Yeah.
We'll go through, try it out on our report. So we have a couple items, since we have time before we're gonna meet with the Conservation Commission. We'll get through these assessing board. Anybody have any questions on any of these?
No, they all look pretty straightforward.
Anybody want to make a motion on these?
I'll make a motion that the board approve the intent to cut and report of cut or excavation for map 29 lot 8, map 53 lot 6-2, map 40 lot 10, map 10 lot 12, and map 68 lot 7.
And we'll get a roll call vote, all in favor? Let's go. Wait. We have to just
Well, yeah. All in favor?
All favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
We were just getting that roll call.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Please do that. Right. So that we move on right now. Is everybody from the Conservation Committee here to come and join us?
We have that until 7, so we expect Sam.
Okay, so we'll wait for him.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
So PLIA, that's postponed to next week.
Yeah, unless Dee shows up, I don't know if she's gonna come over or not. She thought she was participating by Zoom, so,
You want to start trucking some of the company stuff or?
she's one, yeah.
Chris, you want to lead us away on that, or?
So, yeah, so last week you talked about how you want to proceed going into town meeting in regards to the warrant articles. We came to a consensus that we wanted to move to table the Ledge Farm article number 10, and we wanted to recommend an amendment, or move an amendment, and reduce the fire vehicle fund. And we talk about how you want to present all that, and how you want to explain that plan, for lack of a better word, to the voters. And we also need to talk about how the budget itself is going to be presented. The latest information that I have is that neither the chair nor the vice chair of the budget committee are able to come to the meeting. So that has typically been the point of presentation of the operating budget. So we need to talk about what we're going to do to deal with that, as well as how you want to present your overall plan. I gave you a draft kind of narrative that explains the big picture. I thought it would be helpful to, before we get into the weeds on any of the particular articles for the board, to just explain overall what's happened during the pandemic a little bit and how you suggest the town meeting deal with it. So that's what that narrative is. It was intended to be kind of a story you could tell at the meeting. I ran it by Dawn, and she suggested that you come up with something that you could put out before the meeting, so that people could kind of hear that plan before walking in the door. So that's kind of the policy side of things, and then the practical, logistical side of things. We have to talk about how we're running the meeting itself, and how we're going to communicate that to voters over the next few days. So what you have there is just another communication that we're ready to send out if you're comfortable with it, about what it's going to be like for the town meeting, what voters can expect physically in the building. All the indications are we have that the audio visual is going to be fine. The health officer, the moderator, and one or two of the supervisors, Checklist and I are walking through school tomorrow morning at 10 to talk about seating placements and ballot box placements and that kind of thing. If you want to join us for that, please come on down. So I think we'll be ready for all that. We'll have some explaining to do and some directing traffic to do that morning, but I think we'll be able to pull it off. So that's the intro. No, I just need to know that you're comfortable with it, or if you have questions or concerns about it, that we address them now before we start talking to the public about it.
And this, what to expect, that came from the moderator.
I wrote that, but Bonnie has seen it and is comfortable with it and all that. So,
Since we're not gonna be providing food or anything, maybe we should throw in a note that anybody diabetics that may need to have food unexpectedly, especially given the heat, that they bring something adequate with them. Food and water for medical reasons.
Yeah, we're we were thinking we could have a bottle of water available as you walk in, pick up the bottle. It's gonna be high age that day, at its highest. So, but we'll have water, bring, what's the polite way to say that?
People with medical needs bring,
I would just.
encouraged to bring food as necessary.
What, it says no lunch or food will be available. Why don't we just say something like, please feel free to bring what you may require for your own needs.
But, or no, we provide.
Yeah, that encompasses all circumstances. Yeah.
So we're all good with the logistics, right? You're asking about the budget.
Right. I can tell people it's going down 3%. Plus.
So one thing that I was thinking about is the budget committee chair and vice chair are going to be there. My thinking is that it might be best to have Chris present it. Because he is the most detailed knowledge of the line by line, although I don't recommend going line by line, but I think again, in the interest of making it an efficient and short meeting, it might be best to have him present it. We can certainly, absolutely, yeah, but, my thought thinking would be, and I mean, you have to be okay with this, but my thinking is if you go department by department, give the bottom line, and then just explain the reasons that they buy or significant over your,
Because we're basically talking about to go through, double line. You just say, which is all budget is here, 3% or the size of it, which you just X amount of cost. Move on to the next. That's how I would do it.
so department by department, so town administration.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then fire, and highway, yeah, exactly.
Just basically, the ones that are going up, for some reason, some person explained this quickly why that changed, what the change was. Keep the meeting rolling. The meeting should roll fairly quickly due to the situation that we're in. Now they're in, but it's gonna get hot.
Yeah.
So we need a 7 o'clock going, but this is gonna need to discuss that. We have 2 sign-off ballots. Which is gonna take time to 3, sorry. They're gonna take some of our time, so. I hope we can move this along in an expedited way that's still efficient for everybody to understand what's going on, but yet.
So you're all good with Chris, so that's the goal.
So this is okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm better equipped than I am. Plumbing drilling out, so.
Well, that's.
So then that part of the other part of it though is how are we going to set the stage prior to this one? Essentially telling the story. And we're not planning on doing slides like we have in the past, right? Or how
There will be slides with the warrant articles on them. So you can see the text, you can see amendments. I haven't built anything that speaks to the budget,
Okay.
per se, I certainly could, but that just, that slows things down, so, whatever you want.
So really what we need is somebody from the board to look at this piece that Chris drafted for those prior to meeting, somebody to just reiterate that, to speak to that before Chris.
Here, but I want to do it, whatever, not.
So use this as an intro to the budget presentation.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah. You know, just talking about those ones on the bottom, and putting that as a work towards his presentation. Maybe we'll ease some minds, some conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and, you know, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Reduce it.
Yeah.
So efficiently.
So in terms of getting this out beforehand, are you guys okay if it's posted like on the website or?
Website, social media that we have available. Maybe, it's a bit much for the cameras. Yeah,
But if we put it on the website, Tony, and then we can.
link to it.
link to it for social media. And I don't know if it makes sense to post it, post office or.
We can, yeah, I mean, we're certainly gonna post the bit about,
Yes.
you know, masks and all that stuff, we'll put that out like it was an agenda, and we'll put it, you know, and all that do with social media and all that. Messaging.
We do it with the library, flyers, all the big, all the focus ones. So.
Well, we got that taken care of. Anything else to say about it?
You all got, last time I gave you the talking points that we agenda for the other, you all have a role for various other warrant articles. Just refresh yourself on those. You know, you have many presentations or explanations on different warrant articles. You're doing the reval one, so it was an opportunity to talk about the reval. You're doing the wastewater, the stormwater management one. You need to resend that document, so you have those.
Yeah.
You got those last week, I'll send them again. We can, over this week, if you want to look over that, we can talk about any, maybe you want later on, a better way to explain.
Good. Very good. Yeah. I'd like to open this meeting with the joint meeting with the Conservation Commission, talk about the Canard Forest Trail project. Go on, guys. Here, there, wherever.
There, just sit on either side of the laptop, because that's actually broadcasting the meeting.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, we will pull these out.
Is that good?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sam Demare. I chair the Conservation Commission. Have for the last about 10 years or so, I guess. With me is Susan Mooney, and Celia Abrams is on the Trails Committee. When we were going before Bearpaw, who was the easement holder of the county property. Can you hear me through this thing?
You're a little muffled, but you're close enough to the laptop that I think you're close to home to probably hear you.
I can drop it off. We found out that we couldn't finish the trails on the Kennett property because we hadn't completed a stewardship management plan for the property, so that they could, we could show them where the trails are being laid out and everybody was secure with where everything was going. So that's why we're looking, and then we just we put out a request from Ibis Wildlife Consultants who's done some of that work in the past, especially for Bear Claw. See what the, roughly an estimate was of what it would take to put that plan together. And she came back with an estimate, I guess, between $2,000 and $3,000. So we're looking to kind of set aside $3,000 from the conservation fund for that particular work. That's why we're here.
What exactly is a stewardship plan?
It tells what can be done and what can't be done on the property. In the deed, I think there it is, it does say that there's not supposed to be any motorized vehicles on the property. And we know that there's been some ATV use up there and stuff like that, so. We're not too concerned about snowmobiles because they're usually up on top of the thing, on top of the snow, and it doesn't cause the erosion that the ATVs and mountain bikes and stuff like that do.
What might be some of the other things, I'm just curious, what might be some of the other things that we could look at to determine?
Well, we're looking to where we put the trails so that they're not running into any sensitive areas, running through the middle of a habitat for a particular animal or anything like that.
So the main trail is the road. The main trail is the road, right? The main trail is gonna be the road,
Probably.
right? Obviously, you get the way out.
Yeah, English road, it goes in, and then
Well,
Yeah.
comes off from that.
That's the existing,
What trail's on there, but I think
that's an existing woods road.
Right.
It's been rutted up pretty much with, in one section by the ATV and motorized.
Is the trail, is the road blocked with a gate? I'm sorry, I'm gonna buy this a lot of time there.
No, we haven't done that yet.
Is that gonna be part of the $2,000? Is that gonna be gate?
We're not looking at that at this point. We'll probably just put up some signs. And we may have some sort of a temporary gate or something like that. They can always go around it, especially with the two-wheelers.
Well, I'm just making a fact problem.
Yeah.
That's what the plan will tell us.
Okay.
So we wouldn't want a four-wheeler or a trailer.
Right, the motorized, right now, the easement is set up, so there's not supposed to be any motorized vehicles on the property at all. And, of course, they have been, they've used it in the past when it was, privately owned before we bought it. Well, it's not motorized, so I mean, that's one of the things that we're looking at. We may have to put some improvement on where they've dug it up in the wet area. We did have some vandalism on the property a month or two ago. And the police set up a camera to see if they could catch anybody doing it. And apparently we haven't had any vandalism since. And
What was happening? What happened?
they took down a bunch of the signs. We had some of the signs indicating that it was part of the Fort General's Greenway. It was a conservation area. They ripped them off the trees. I think we found some of them, or somebody found them for us. And up some more.
when would you get an exact, quote on the cost of creating that management plan?
Well, as soon as we get to go ahead that we can spend the money from the conservation fund to do it. Or at least an advisory that we people are in favor of it.
I think we've done it, aside from my first year, I think we've done one of these before, right, for other properties in town. This is the first
Well,
time you guys
we-
are asking for,
The only ones that we own, we have the Miriam Daggett and Tasker properties, but that is with an easement through NRCS. And that came with the management plan. It has a forest management plan, so we don't have to do anything on that one. And then the other property that we own is the Marston property, and that's, there's no easement on that, so at this point.
what about the old Fernald property, the 100 acres that was sitting over there off,
That's which Fernald,
the 100 acres at North Tuckaway Lake and.
Oh, okay. We haven't, I don't know if we,
That's not town owned.
It's different about this parcel, the town owns this
Oh,
parcel.
okay.
That's why, that's what's different about this. Typically, we just have an easement or some other reason. But this is one that the town actually bought from me. And then restricted.
The process here is that, I'm assuming there's nobody else that wants to comment on this, since there's a public hearing. I'll make a comment. There you go. Here, the Conservation Commission held a meeting last Thursday. We all sat outside in front of the Van Dam School. And after discussion with Celia, who's done a pile of work and research on this, we held a vote to spend up to $3,000, or allocate $2,000 for the stewardship plan. And the vote was unanimous. I have a copy of the draft minutes for that meeting, if you care to have them. And after the public hearing, we invite you to approve the expenditure in the plan. So we can move forward. So that's what I thought you were looking for. That, like, if you say up to $3,000. Yes, and that gives us some wiggle room and gives Helen Schneider or whomever we choose, a little bit of give and take.
And also her cost was reduced in her last email, because we are able to provide her with some materials that she would otherwise have to do.
Does anybody else like to speak on this? Yeah. Before we close?
We'll close the public hearing with the Conservation Commission right now. Dr. Lewis.
I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditure from the conservation fund of up to $3,000 for the creation of the stewardship plan for the Mad Forest Trail project.
Second. Okay, all in favor? All right, aye. Motion passed unanimously.
Hey, we were in the, pattern meeting with you guys once before, and then you guys would bring your spreadsheet that was updated of what's out there, right? So I assume we're gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, once things get kind of back to a new normal, they say, that would be great.
Okay, good.
We've got some things in the fire at the moment, so.
All right, we'll keep it posted and good luck with it.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Going back to our agenda, we are going to go back to our general business right now. And we'd like to call forward Pete Decker to speak on behalf of the DILA for host funding request. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I fully expected to be doing this through Zoom. I have nothing with me, nothing prepared other than what I sent you guys because I found out at 6:30 that I was expected to be here in person, not through Zoom.
Do you want the copy?
Did you receive the updated email that I sent you today with today's numbers?
No, this is what's in your folder. Yeah, it says the date or yesterday's date. Oh, 6/10/2020.
Nope.
Oh, hold on.
Actually, that is the date that's on the top of it, yes, but it should be as of 6/22. So I have some updated numbers since payroll was run the day of your last meeting.
Yeah, it's the same one with the yellow and the red.
They both have yellow ones.
Yeah, but one you'll see has a payout, it says total hours paid out, 298, and it's just another one that says paid out 500 hours.
Right, so the one
500
that,
hours is the current.
the 500 hours is current, right. Yeah. So the only change to the email that I sent you last week regarding what's happening at Fundy and the state park is we are going to do some paid hours at the state park because it is extremely busy with kayakers and canoers. And so we have someone who wanted some extra hours, and so we're gonna put her up there on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 4, because that's when it's busy. And since last week, we've done another 1,000 inspections this past week. Yeah, Saturday was so crazy at the Fundy Launch, I called Fishing Game to go down and figure out what was going on.
What they do?
I don't know, I haven't heard back from Garrett at all, but I was hanging up the phone from leaving him a message. He's the boat ramp coordinator for the state for Fishing Game, and he's been great to work with this year. This is the first year we worked with him, but Marine Patrol was going into Fundy just as I was hanging up the phone. Had nothing to do with my phone call to him, it just was coincidence.
Yeah.
And Marine Patrol was actually on the lake every single day this weekend.
Wow.
Yep.
In a marked boat.
Oh, yeah. And they're going in at multiple places because they can't get in at Fundy. So they're now putting in on Shore Drive on Sunday. And they're looking for places down up in Mountain Brook and Neal's Cove to put in because they can't get
in. Sorry, that's one way to make sure you don't get pulled over by Marine Patrol.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Offshore.
Off of shore, way down at the end by Bassett's.
Okay.
The boat was going in way down there.
Not the turn off. Sure,
Nope.
Cahill or Cove
Nope.
or whatever.
Not on Cove Road, nope.
No, you're not Cahill.
No, I'll go.
Yeah.
What's the one right off the shore?
Cove. That's Cove, that's where he is.
Is that the big downhill to the
That's
boat?
the emergency fire launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were
That's not-
they were way down at the very end, at the dead end of Shore Drive.
what about on Lakeview? Is that where there's a sign that says fire department?
I think that property has been sold, so I don't know if it's still a public, an emergency access.
Yeah, the sign's still there.
Yeah, but I know that LBA, I think, was gonna be contacted because they've got the beach launch and the other launch.
Yeah.
Where boats can go in, so they're looking for emergency access. Yeah, other than the state park as well. Right now, the state park is barricaded, you can't get power boats down that road. So, anyways, do you have any questions for me about this year's Lake Hills program?
Looks to be a busy year.
Yeah.
How is your, just out of curiosity, how is your volunteering this year?
So at the bottom of the sheet that has the 500 hours, you see that our total volunteer hours for PLIA as of January, from January, not including Lake Coast, is 546 hours. We've also spent, we received a grant from the Lamprey River Conservation Group, I can't say LRAC, or whatever it stands, I can't remember what it stands for a side scan sonar to look for milfoil that way.
That's awesome.
And so that's what this $5,400 is the grant for the for the sonar.
Oh, so that goes into matching?
No, that is not, so the match is up above in the box. This part down here is not part of the match. So the amount that we've put out so far for match is $4,000.
Wait, so where does the solar thing in?
So at the very bottom, you see the $5,400? Yeah.
Total out of pocket expenses, no point control,
Yeah.
5,000?
Yeah.
But that includes the,
That's the side scan sonar. Yes.
so it's not out of pocket funds, it's a grant, right?
Right, it was grant, right. Yeah. Yeah, so the volunteer match that we've done so far for the Lake Coast grant is $4,000. We're required to meet 100% of the 5,050, and we'll be well over that.
So the total volunteer hours, all groups except Lake Coast, 546.
Yep.
That, the equivalent of that is the 4,000?
No, if you look up above, the total volunteer match hours, that's just Lake Coast volunteer match hours is 150.
But
So-
all others goes towards the volunteer match as well, doesn't it?
No. Only Lake Coast hours specifically
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
volunteer.
I get what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And so that all the others is mostly the people who are out there looking at the milfoil and bee watchers and all that.
Yeah, yeah, and road reps and road cleanup and all of those hours. That was something that you had asked for last year, was to know what our total volunteerism was.
So one of the things, I know it's a tough situation now, but one of the things that you guys had started doing last year was the additional fundraising.
Yep.
Any potential plans for that?
We actually did 2 fundraisers. We did one in September. We did the paddle poker, which was put together very quickly and very successful.
Yeah.
I don't have those the total amount that we raised, but I think it was like a week's worth of lake hosting just from that one fundraiser.
Yeah.
And then, believe it or not, the food that we did for town meeting here was also very, very successful. So,
For voting day here?
yes, yes, yeah. So both of those things we're planning on doing again for next year. Yep. So what we're currently requesting is a matching $5,050, which is what our grant was and what the PLIA has already contributed. We currently have $4,200 in the bank, so to speak. So that'll keep us going for probably into August, and then we'll have to reevaluate where we are from there.
So when are you asking to receive this?
As soon as possible.
And for instance, given where we are with expenses, we don't have to talk about it.
No, this is basically, we're not at the point where we need to worry about 5,000 yet.
Has the membership gone down because of this COVID? People.
Membership is up a great deal.
Good.
So not necessarily the total number of members, but the individual contributions is up significantly.
Good.
So one thing that you'll see on here that I should bring to your attention. So if you look under grant matching funds, we now have this Lake Coast Charitable Giving Program. So to go back to your fundraising question, Donna, This is through New Hampshire Lakes, but anyone who donates and chooses to tuck away late from the drop down, that money is directly added to our payroll account, and I get a record of that. And people are put, so far we've got $10, but it's a recurring monthly $10. So you can set it up as a one-time donation or a recurring donation. And so we have someone who is donating to the program through this. And this is something we are going to promote more because it directly impacts Lake Coastal.
Wasn't that part of that one day you had 1 hour to do it?
So no, as it turns out, I pulled that down because New Hampshire Lakes had that triple match for them specifically for their programs. They made it look like it was for New Hampshire, that it was for lake coasting too. So when I put it up, Crystal got right up to me and said, that doesn't include individual programs. That's just New Hampshire Lakes.
Okay.
Had the triple match.
And then there was like this 1 hour thing, the 1 hour video where it was like 67 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that they would do it.
Yeah, there was that 1 hour that was the triple match. Everything else was just a direct match.
But you can go do it.
But you can do it anytime. Yes, correct.
So those pay your credit card every month.
Every month.
That's a lot easier.
Other things, yes, yes. But you can do that for the PLIA membership too. You can now donate, have it go directly to Milfoil Control or Lake Coast and do it as a monthly reoccurring thing as well.
How's it going down the lake this year?
It's spreading. So the team is doing a really good job marking it and pulling it and everything else, but it's definitely moving towards the Fundy side. So it was going the other direction in the channel, and now it's going kind of both directions. And it's down closer to that marker, to the red and white marker at the end of the channel. Yep. But they're doing a great job keeping an, we have divers that are still ready to be trained. We have more people that are coming on board to help us, dive for it and and pull it and everything else like that. So, they're out there every single week.
I saw something on Facebook in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Somebody found invasive, I don't know, freshwater snail or mussel or something tucked away.
Chinese mystery snails.
Say again?
Chinese mystery snails.
Or is this something we need to be worried about?
They're about the size of a golf ball.
They're big.
They're hermaphroditic, so they spontaneously reproduce in the spring. They don't need male and female. And they are now widespread in the lake. They are so widespread in New Hampshire that DES is no longer tracking them. And there's nothing that we can do about it, other than keeping people to clean, drain, and dry their boats. Wipe them down if they don't have the ability to dry them, because that brushes the larvae and stuff off them really, really well, and chuck them in the woods. That's all you can do.
What impact do they have on the lake?
They changed the ecology. They're not like the Chinese, the clams, the zebra mussels, and those where they create a barrier on the bed. We're just finding kind of like here and there, you find them on your dock and that kind of a thing. The zebra mussels actually create a dense layer and barrier between the layers of the muck at the bottom of the lake, and really changes the ecology and the way things can grow, and these don't do that. But probably brought over the same way in ballast coming into the Great Lakes and then brought into other lakes. So water chestnuts were last year. We found 2 different instances of water chestnuts last year. Both coming in by boats, both up at the Fundy ramp on the ground. The scary thing with water chestnuts is they can be spread by waterfowl because they have hooked barbs. They can get onto birds and they can be moved, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do to inspect birds on the lake.
Any more discussion? How much is in the fund? Is it 10 or 12,000?
We had 10 a year, spent about half of it, or a little less than half of it. I want to say there's 34 in there now.
I think that's about right.
I think it's about 34.
We all set? Anybody want to? I'll make a motion that we approve the request for $5,050 for the Duckaway Lake Improvement Association Lake Post Program.
Sorry. Okay, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Chris, you'll get that check out as soon as possible?
I will send you the invoice to have, yeah, right. You just need to add the invoice with the check this year, so it's a little different. I will plan on updating, well, I update this every couple of weeks when we do payroll, and letting you guys know when we're kind of getting to that threshold that we need to talk again, probably sometime in August. Right?
Oh, wait, so you're thinking you might need to come back for additional?
Always. It's a conversation. So, yeah. So we'll see how, right, exactly, see how it goes, see how the summer goes. Right now, it's been very busy.
Yeah, I would expect this year to be busy, given that people have cooped up for since, months.
Yeah. All right, so see you guys tomorrow and or Saturday.
Before we close, is there any more about town meeting that we want to discuss for all of us here? And we left on that, we're gonna review our warrant articles that we're all reading this week. So we'll prepare for Saturday morning. Do we normally show up there like 8:30 for the 9 o'clock meeting, or? I don't know.
You may get put to work directing traffic, so don't be there any later than 8:30.
Okay.
We're probably gonna have to, do some explaining as people come in and, masked people go here and unmasked people go here. And
We make signs.
Yeah, there'll be signs, but we figure this out tomorrow, but I suspect there's going to be, since we don't know how many people are coming and how many people are going to be masked or unmasked, we're probably gonna have some kind of flex space where, we wanna make sure that we've got distance seating for everybody that wants it, but we don't wanna commit the whole space that we don't need is, we could be scrambling around moving some chairs and ropes that morning, so we may need to work on that.
Will we spread appropriately across the big table?
Yeah, I think we'll have to be at least, we'll do something like this.
Big chairs between us.
We know that some of the budget committee is going to typically have on tables, so there'll be some more space. It will be challenging for us, because we typically communicate during the meeting, as things are going on, so it'll be tough to figure that out. Get up and move a couple steps and talk things out.
We still have Teams, even though we don't necessarily have to use it for a broadcast meeting. We can create a channel, a group, with a bunch of us, and then we just text each other. Like, in real time, rather than getting up and making it clear.
Yeah, I guess if there's,
We're gonna call it a group chat.
It's pretty much what it is. It's a chat room just for the 5 to 6 of us.
yeah, I'll do it if you find it helpful. I'm trying to think of what we're typically talking about. It's usually how to answer a question or correcting language about something or.
And it's not consistent in constant.
Your attorney, Mike Gordon, will be there. I'm running through the morning, I think tomorrow.
One last thing, unrelated to anything else. I had a request, that our police department make public, like police law, like they do in other towns, put it in the paper or whatever. We could put it on the website, with just bulleted notes. You know, responded to barking dog at this address, date, time. That's probably within the chief's purview, but.
I can let him know that you send that request.
It would be kind of nice. Since he has, I'm sorry that I forgot him, I apologize for the first thing. It's very technically, yes.
Actually, IMC has a function that it can, in an automated fashion, produce a summary like that. So, yeah, so it's a lot of labor, and part of the rationale behind it is that like all the major newspapers in the area, right, Portsmouth Herald, Union Leader, Foster's, Concord Monitor, nobody covers Nottingham. Like we are literally, you know what I mean? Nobody covers us. So if we auction out, well, Steve does, yeah, no, Steve notwithstanding. So maybe if,
So the other towns do that, tell me this, like, we do that, or
The mix.
Durham,
it's a mix, yeah.
and they put it on their website?
Usually they get it to the paper.
Yeah, it's usually a public meeting thing that I've seen. I don't know that I've seen it.
For the record, Candia does that.
They don't do it.
Candia puts their police record up on the forum.
Oh, on the forum?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're right. That's the reason for the forums here, because no one covers us but us.
Right. Okay. So he was just saying, Candia puts it in the form. That's an option too. Something to think about. We're better chief. And I took this week off from work, so I'd like to pop in and do a little testing laptop.
Let us tell you when our tax is completed, because we'll be on the doing some startup show now, with
And, yeah, we can dig up, make model information on all that gear.
Oh, yeah, we got books and books.
We got the books, I'll keep forth with those names, see their way, obscure, I don't care. I can be on with video from a computer, but it's possible, it's a book.
Well, everything else being said and done.
Motion to
You
adjourn.
guys all Saturday morning, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
And we'll do all fit.
And it is unanimous.
Okay. Yeah.